Hi guys, this is Jonathan from Melbourne Aquaponics. In this video I would like to talk about a very famous fish in Australia, which is the Silverperch. The silverperch are very famous in Australia because they are native fish. They are very well adapted to the environment. I don't think you can find this kind of fish in any other country, but if it's the case, please leave us a comment and let us know about it. Silverperch is a very nice fish to have in aquaponics and very well adapted for beginners because it's a very hardy fish, so it can handle a lot of mistakes. It's very well adapted to the Australian temperature. It can handle very high temperature. Silverperch can also handle a very low concentration of oxygen for a little while. So if you have a problem in your fish tank, most of the time the silverperch are going to survive. You may lose the other fish, but the silverperch are very hardy and they can handle a very low oxygen concentration. It's also a social fish, so it can be mixed with other fish or other sizes of silverperch, and most of the time it doesn't cause any trouble. Obviously you need to feed your fish properly, right? If you don't feed them enough, they become very territorial and they want to fight for the food. So as long as you feed them correctly, you don't have too many troubles and you can mix different sizes. It's also a fish that resists to quite high nitrate and ammonia concentration into the water. So if you start aquaponics, it's probably a good fish to start with because it's going to be able to resist to a little spike of pollution into your water. Another very interesting point of silverperch is that when they get bigger, they accept vegetables or green food. So if you grow lettuce or those kind of things, you can feed them directly with it, and you can also feed them with duckweed. So here, for example, I'm growing some duckweed into this tank. I can feed my silverperch with it. Obviously, it's not the only food I'm gonna give to my silverperch. That's just a complement, but it gives them a lot of vitamins, a lot of good things because it's fresh. When they are small, when they are fingerlings, they don't eat any veggies. But it's only when they get a bit bigger, when they come around 500, 1 kilo, they start to eat a little bit of green, and the bigger they are and the more they accept this kind of food. So for the one of you who like to have big fish in aquaponics, silverperch are actually a fish that can grow big. They can grow to 8 kilo. It's not extreme, but I mean it's still a reasonable size, but it takes a lot of time. On the negative point, I would say that silverperch are a slow-growing fish, so they take 2.5 to 3 years to reach the plate size for the biggest, and obviously you always got some discrepancy into the fish tank, and the smallest of your batch are gonna maybe take 4 to 4.5 years before being able to reach the plate size. So it's really one of the negative points of silverperch is that they take quite a long time to grow. From a gastronomical point of view, silverperch are not the best eating fish. They are okay to eat, the flesh is white and it's nice, it's clean, but it doesn't have a lot of flavor, so you will have to add some herbs and a lot of vegetables around to make it, or a nice sauce to make it really enjoyable and tasty. But actually that's quite a good point because some people don't really like the fishy taste. So this fish is perfect for this kind of person. So in winter the temperature in Melbourne drops around 8 degrees. So in the natural environment the silverperch are going to go on the bottom of the dam and they are not going to move, they are going to live on their reserves. So the fish must not be stressed during winter, right? Because they don't eat during winter. The metabolism is only going to try to survive, but there is not enough energy to fight against any disease or any stress. That's why into the natural environment the fish goes into the depth in the mud and doesn't move so much. In aquaponics the tanks are very small, so we must make sure that we don't stress the fish during winter. We don't want them to use their reserve and then to fall sick, because basically if you stress your fish during winter, what is going to happen is that all the barriers they have to fight against the disease, so you know the nice mucus and all this energy that they stock, they're going to use it because they're going to stress, and then after a while they're going to be very, very weak, and as soon as a disease comes, the fish is going to get it. So that's only the negative point of silverperch, is that during winter we must make sure that we don't stress them. So stressing them is fishing the fish, you know, doing anything into the fish tank, or banging on the tank. You know, if you got kids around, make sure they don't bang on the fish tank during winter, because it can be a disaster. So obviously there are a few techniques to make sure the fish are going through winter without any trouble. So first, put some salt into your water, 3 grams per liter. It's going to decrease the quantity of fungus that are going to be able to attack the fish. It's also going to minimize the osmosis, so it's going to help the fish to feel better into the water. You can also, if you got the possibility, if you have a very small fish tank, you can also put a little heater into the water to just increase the water by 2 or 3 degrees. And in this case, once you are above 10 degrees, the fish are much better. 12 degrees, it's even a better temperature for the silverperch. But when you are below 8 degrees or 8 degrees, it's quite low, and you must really make sure you don't stress the fish. Also make sure they got a place to hide during winter, and leave them alone. Another interesting fact about silverperch is that into the water you always got a few dominant fish, but they don't really fight very much, but still you got some dominant fish, and they groan. So they make this specific noise into the water with their throat, and that's how they signal to the other fish that they are into their territory and they must stay away. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you understand that silverperch is really the beginner fish in Australia, and it's going to allow a lot of beginners to start in aquaponics and to make some little mistakes without losing the fish. So I really advise and recommend this fish for all beginners and for all people who want to start aquaponics in Australia. Thank you, see you in the next video. Bye bye.